we see the coastal fort. This became the naval base for our beloved naval hero of the 18th century. I stood here, Tordenskiold. Good morning everyone, welcome to Northern Journeys. 3 rules as usual: 1 historical location, 1 day shoot, 1 day edit, to keep it simple. Behind me now is the beautiful Vestfold coastline and Mølen, but we're not going to visit burial mounds this day. Today we're actually going to visit, or go back in time, to the 17th and 18th century and visit an old coastal fortress from that period. And perhaps you'll get to trace the footsteps of Norway's most well-known naval hero. And we're in my boat, so we're gonna go pretty fast. I couldn't have asked for better weather than this. Like minimal waves, just perfect. Yeah, just an amazing coastline to travel along. There we see the coastal fort. And there's the old cannon tower with the curtain walls on the sides. Right, I have the boat tied up, and thanks to whoever built a jetty right by the fort. Makes my job a lot easier, so let's go. Let's talk a little bit about the historical significance of this fort. The first installation of this fort was a wooden palisade and battery during the Scanian War, in which Denmark-Norway made a successful foray into Sweden, trying to recapture previously lost territories. After the Scanian War, a few buildings were added to this fort, a garrison was added, a commander, and with the Great Nordic War is when this fort really came into prominence. You see it's guarding the entrance to Stavern harbor on this side, and on the other side it's facing the sea. And it's also got an amazing sheltered harbor right here. This became the naval base for our beloved naval hero of the 18th century, Peter Wessel Tordenskiold. Tordenskiold must have moored here with his squadron, preparing his attacks on Sweden, ending with the Battle of Dynekilen, which completely annihilated the Swedish invasion fleet. Tordenskiold is a mythical figure of history, and if you ask any Norwegian who he is, they will know. He's probably the only character of the 18th century that people know, which is a bit weird because he had such a short life. It seems wherever he went, there sprung up all these kind of urban legends about his exploits and his characters and his cleverness, because Denmark-Norway was very much the underdog, and coming from Norway, Tordenskiold was even more of an underdog. The fact that he made it to almost become an admiral of the Danish-Norwegian fleet shows the kind of level of ingeniousness and cunning that he had, and it would have made his Norwegian crews very happy to serve under such a distinguished commander. Not much use in war. This tower also had a source of clean water in it. It had a well, so it was a very good location for a tower, because it meant the garrison could stay here for weeks on end without having to supply itself from the town. After the end of the Great Nordic War, Tordenskiold threw his life away in a duel, and Denmark-Norway entered a period of armed neutrality. Although there was a threat, obviously, from Sweden all the time. So Frederick, King of Denmark-Norway, decided that this place should be incorporated into a much larger military installation around Stavern. This became a shipyard, actually, where the whole squadron of the North Atlantic Fleet was based, up until well into the mid-19th century, when again the naval base was moved further north and this fort fell into disuse. So, why put a naval base in this quiet little village, Stavern? During the 18th century, Larvik, which is nearby, was actually quite an important place for the extraction of iron. Also, if you look at the map, placing a naval base here makes sense, because what it does, it's quite close to Denmark. You can send a fleet across the Skagerrak to Denmark, and you can also send a fleet to the Swedish west coast, thereby threatening the eternal enemy, Sweden. So, yeah, not such a bad place after all. Now we're on the island opposing Citadel Island, and this is apparently where Tordenskiold would bury his dead during the wars. So it's a cemetery island. No graves there, unfortunately. Just a view of the breakwater down there, and southeast along out into the Skagerrak Sea. Today it's a soccer field, so not much traces of the graveyard itself, apart from the memorial stele, which says, "I stood here, Tordenskiold." So we know he stood here, at least. Okay, I'm going back to the boat. This has been an amazing visit to this island and this sea fortress that obviously must have meant a lot to this little town back in the day. Anyways, thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe if you want to see more similar content. See me travel by foot, car, boat, plane, you name it, to another historical location. And yeah, until next time, adieu, goodbye, or farewell.